start the record and just give a little brief of Power BI, just to open things up. So what Power BI basically is, it's a reporting tool. It's a very powerful reporting tool that can take data and integrate it from a whole lot of sources. It helps you analyze your data. It gives you visuals. It gives you dashboards so that you can quickly and simply tell the status of your company if you're running a company, or your data when you're looking at a particular set of data that you need to make sense of. All right. Power BI is basically divided into 3 components. Okay. The first component would be your Power BI desktop. Second would be your Power BI services, and third would be your Power BI mobile apps. Okay, I'm going to explain a little bit on how these 3 aspects work. All right. Okay, so Power BI desktop would be your where you actually create or design your reports. So that's where you'd actually put in the report so that it makes sense to you, or it's going to be easier for you to draft and put in the data the way you would like it to be, or the way it would make better sense to you. Okay, and then the Power BI, the second part, the Power BI services, would be where you take the data that was done or the reports that were done in the Power BI desktop. It goes onto the live. You put it onto the cloud, where anyone from anywhere can access it, and from there you are able to put it onto your dashboards, and then publish it also to your Power BI apps. Okay, so the Power BI mobile apps basically are for those people that are on the move, maybe that that sector of your team that is always on the move, and they just need to see the information. The information they would see would be the information that is specified in the Power BI services. All right. Okay, so you will use Power BI best to suit your situation based on the apps, the services, or the desktop. Okay, I'm going to start with the desktop. Open the desktop so that we can create and customize a couple of reports before we can publish them onto the services, and then we can see how it goes from there. Okay, there is my Power BI desktop icon. Of course, with Power BI desktop, you have to download it from the website first, install it onto your workstation before you can actually run it. All right. I'll wait for it to open there. Okay, so that's how your Power BI welcome screen will look like. Okay, you'd see that here it has your videos, your get started videos. It gives you a little tutorial on videos, tutorial videos on how to start with Power BI, how to navigate around Power BI, and so forth. On the left, on the right there, we've got your forums, and okay, mine has opened up a little bit funny. But yeah, your forums and your updates, that will be on the right there. What's new, and so forth. All right, and for you now to start to load some data onto Power BI, you click on Get Data, that is on the right there. I'm just going to go ahead and click on it. Okay, so on Power BI, you can actually load, like I said, a number of sources, of data sources. You can load from an Excel spreadsheet, text, or CSV. Your more complex ones would be your XML and so forth. You can load data from an Access database, SQL server database, as you'll see we'll do later on, your oracles. You can even use your cloud services like your Azure SQL databases. Yeah, the list goes on and on and on and on. So you can basically bring in data from a whole lot of other services, a whole lot of other sources into Power BI. Okay. Just to start with, to keep it simple, I'm going to bring in data from just an Excel spreadsheet that I've prepared earlier, just so you can see how it looks. Okay. Or maybe before that, let me close that and go through the simple the window, the Power BI desktop window. Okay. So the white screen that we see over there, that will be your clean canvas. That's where your reports and data is going to appear, right? On your left there are your data views. Okay, we've got the report view, we've got the data view, we've got the relationships view. We'll go into that a little bit later as well. And on the right there, that's where you choose the kind of visualizations you want to see. There's plenty there. I'm sure after we are done here, you might actually be interested in looking into some of those that we didn't go into, but they are all there. And down here would be where you specify or filter your data as it comes in. Okay, the fields area over there would contain all the data that you'll be bringing in or connecting from. They would appear on your right hand side. Okay, up there would be just the navigation and manipulating of the data and the report as it appears. You've got your views, your modeling, and so forth. You'd see that that list will increase as we add our data in there. All right. Over and above getting the data or loading the data from the welcoming screen, you can also load your data from the Get Data button that is on the home. Okay, I'm going to click that so that I can load my Excel spreadsheet. I'm going to go into Excel. Bottom there, I'll click on Connect. Right. Okay, there it is. I'll browse to wherever it is saved, your Excel spreadsheet. I'm going to go for the project budgets. That's the one that I have. Click on that. It will take some time to connect to it, depending on how big and where you're also getting your data. It might take various times to load and connect. Okay, we'll wait for hours there. Okay, there it loads. It looks at the spreadsheet and brings out all the sheets that are available on that spreadsheet. So on my spreadsheet, I actually have got 4 sheets available, which is that, and the project budget, the one that I need. Okay. After specifying or the one that you need to load, highlight on it, and it will give you a little preview of what the data in the spreadsheet looks like. Okay, so it gives you a chance to verify if the data you're bringing in is the data that you'd like to see as well. After you confirm and verify, you can actually load, okay, or edit. Okay, what I want us to do now before we load it is to edit it so that it is readable and the data that comes in is in the way that you'd like. So I'm going to click on edit. Okay, there you see it's loading the rows and it brings in this query editor. Just gonna make that a little bigger so that everybody can see. Okay, and there would be our fields, our columns. Okay, so with this, you can edit the data that you're bringing in to suit how you want it to be. For example, right now, the ID budgets, I'm not going to need that for my report. You can actually remove that. Okay, you can also rename the fields so that they are easy to read. So that which is the budget account ID is a field straight from the database. It would be in such a way that the databases would be able to read it, and they're unique to that field. So that's why you have something like budget account ID. But we are not machines, we read it better. You'd want to maybe just give it a simple name that we'll understand, and I'll just leave it as our account. Right, so that will be our account. Budget project ID, that will be our project. By simply double clicking as before, you can edit the field. I'm going to leave it as projects. Okay, budget period, I'm going to remove that. Budget branch, delete. So you basically can set up the data to bring in that information that is only necessary for your reporting. That information that you do not need, you can remove on this when you do the edit. All the nulls I'll remove. Casting I'll remove. I'll just leave out the accounts, our projects, and the budget that is there. So basically this spreadsheet that I brought through was about project budgets, as it was said. Okay, I'll rename that as well as budget. Okay, and on the side here where it said applied steps, it would show me everything that I have done to change or to alter this data or this table. All right, so it tells you from the beginning where you brought in the source, navigation where you went to, prompted headers, that's changing the headers, changing types, removed columns, and so forth. So it basically gives you an indication of what you did on that data to get it to what it is now. Okay, you can also rename the name, the title, the title of your report or the title of your data there. But it makes sense enough. I'll leave it as it is, project budget. And then once you are confident that you're done with that, there is a button up there that says close and apply. Okay, I'm going to click that now. It's going to close that and apply those changes that I made and bring in now the data into Power BI. It's going to take a while based on the size of your data. Okay, as you can see, it's bringing the rows there. We'll wait for it a little, and there, it's done. Okay. As I explained earlier, on the right-hand side would be our data. As you can see, it's bringing out the account, it's bringing out the budget, and also bringing out our project. Okay. Now you can drag and bring our data or our fields onto the canvas, the clear canvas there. It'll pick up, it'll give you a result there based on the data type. That is that side. Okay. So let's say, for example, we want to start by bringing in a table to show in our data so that we can display it over there as well. I'll just click on that. Over there, say table. because I wanted to bring in table. Okay, I'll put in the amounts and drag in the project there as well, and the budget. I wonder why it's bringing just one, or is it the sum? It looks at the data type and says it's sums. We need to change that from sum to just text. Because now it is summing up everything that is there, and it looks at the accounts in numbers and says it sums them. Okay, so I'm going to go back into the data, edit it a little bit again, edit query. We need to change the data types of let's see, or we could give them alphanumerics as well. Let's do that. We want to duplicate this column and give it an alphanumeric account number. Let's say ACC. That as well has got to be alphanumeric. Why do I need that data again? Merge, I don't want to merge. Okay, need to change the data first. Data type, whole number. Want it as text. So I'll highlight that. Say we want it as text. Okay, it's only, this is going to be a while because I thought it was just one account number there, so there's plenty. What I'll do is we'll leave it as numeric but change it to text, all of them, and only leave the budgets, which are whole numbers. I remove that. Yeah, there's accounts. Budgets, those are numbers. We change to text. I'll change projects to text as well, where it says data type, come there, text. So it will now change the accounts and the projects data types, and it will bring them as texts and not whole numbers. Okay, close and apply. It will affect the changes I've made and bring it in. So you can see that now on our side there, it has changed the accounts and the projects to be, there's no sum up next to them, but now the budgets, which are whole numbers, are the only ones that have sums. All right, I'll close that one. Start a new one, bring in the accounts, put them there. Now it sees them and it puts it there. I'm gonna bring in project as well, and also our budgets. So it gives me a little table there of how it should look like, the sums and total and everything. You can just so it looks better, you can actually even change that, the look of that table right there. It looks quite small, the digits are small, so for readability you might want to come in there and change a couple of things. Text size, let's make it a 10. It's readable. Auto size, you can have it on or off, but I'm going to leave it on. There's the positions and everything. If you want to see the totals at the bottom there, you can switch it on or off. Okay, there's plenty other things you can do there. Let's also change how the table itself looks. Okay, grid. Let's switch grid on. So basically here, what you'll be doing is changing how the report or how the table looks, or any other feature of the visualization you've selected, how you want it to look. If you wanted to specify to have colors and so forth, this is where you'd come and change that. Style, put minimum there. There's plenty other styles you can choose over there that will suit your liking. You can also resize the table so that it looks better. All right. Also there, what I'm going to do is maybe have a histogram or a pie chart that would bring out the data based on projects. So let me just say there, okay, changes that. Let me undo. Click this so that I can put in a new one. So this is basically now when you're working on your visualization. Okay, bring in a bar chart. Okay, on the axis, I'll draw in our projects. We want to see it per project. On the values, I'll put in the budget. Okay, so that it gives out the budget per project. And we'll leave out the accounts. Okay, so what it gives you there is a bar chart based on the projects on my spreadsheet that I brought through. Right. So what we see there would be now the project budgets based on the budget there. Okay, so we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 projects, and each one of the projects have got the different budgets as allocated. Okay, so there's just one of the things you can actually do on Power BI desktop. As I said, on desktop, that's where you actually now set up your projects. I mean your reports. Set them up to how you want them to look. You basically design your reports. Okay, so right now our report just has a couple of just have 2 things, which is the table and a little histogram there of the budgets per project. Okay, so let's say, for example, now you are happy with how the report is designed. This is all you want to do on your report. You want to now send this onto Power BI services so that we can do dashboards, and we can share it with other members of the team. Okay. So once the developer is done here, what they need to do would be to publish. Right. So once you click on publish, it is going to send this onto the cloud, onto the Power BI services, where you'll be able to exit it further. Click on publish. Do you want to save changes? Of course I do. I'll just say first report and save it under that folder. And now it will work on publishing. Okay, successful. Got it. Right. So now to go, there's a couple of ways you can go to the Power BI services. Of course, before you could go to the Power BI services, you'd have to have an email or have registered with Microsoft Power BI already. Microsoft Power BI will not allow you to register with your personal emails, for example, your Gmail account, your Yahoo account, or so forth. You would want a business account or a school account. Basically, that's what it will ask for. So it has to be a group account that that is set up for your company for you to be able to register. If it picks up that you're trying to register using an email like Yahoo or at gmail.com, something like that, it will not allow you to register. Okay. Now, one of the ways to go onto Power BI services, I have already logged in. It has picked me up. I've logged in with raymond.summer@palladium.co.za. It picks up that Palladium is a business, and it allowed me to register. Okay. One of the ways to log in or to sign in, click on Power BI services. It will go to the net and sign me in. Right, it will require me to sign me in there. Click on that, put in my password. Okay, so what's loading now would be now our Power BI services. Okay, new Power BI navigation. It will give you notifications there and guidelines if you need some. And it will give you examples now of what you have. Right now, what I have on my dashboards would be that. And we'll not look at that right now. We'll focus on the one that we just published. Okay. We call it first report. So on Power BI services, you would have your workspace there. Your workspace would have everything that you'll be working on. Basically, it's you'd have your dashboards there, your reports, your workbooks, your data sets, and so forth. All right. So we right now want to look at the report that was designed in Power BI Desktop, which is first report. Once you click on it there, it brings in the report as it was designed in Power BI Desktop. Okay, you can see that what we did was just our bar and our table over there. Okay. On this side, you do not have the power to basically edit it so much. You will take how it came. So the sizing that we did under desktop, you cannot change it here. So you cannot alter it to be bigger or smaller as you would have liked, or as the developer who was doing it under desktop was doing it. Okay, so it basically be fed the information and the structure that was developed by the developer under the Power BI desktop. Okay, so your reports that come in here can be as complex. This one is quite a simple project that has only 2 things, but a normal report now would have complex figures there. They would have more visualizations. You have your pie chart there. You have your regional identifiers and everything. So when you want to put these things onto the dashboard, for cases you want to share with some of your teammates, you don't want them seeing that certain teammates that have got privileges to see certain things and so forth. So on this page now you can set up dashboards for your team members, what they can see and what they cannot see. Okay, so for example, if I'm to put both this reports or both this data onto my dashboards, all I would need to do is now pin them, come up there where it says pin visual, click on pin visual. It will ask me pin to dashboard and asks me which dashboard I would like to use. Okay, can say existing dashboard or say new dashboard and give that dashboard a name. Okay, I'm going to do that now. And for example, let's just say the accounts department. I'll say pin. It will tell me they give me a confirmation that this has been pinned to the dashboard. The visualization has been pinned. If I come to my dashboards over there, accounts department, you'd see the dashboard and what has been pinned there as well. Okay, so I'll go back and pin the other one just for the department to see existing. Go to dashboard and it will give me the dashboard how it will appear. So you see now on the dashboard, basically it brings in and shows, let me say, as much as on the report itself, I may have plenty of data. On the dashboard, I'll put only those things that I want that the accounts department to see. So they'll see the budgets by projects there as a bar chart, and they'll see it as a table there as well. Okay, so this is how you would be able to now communicate to your different teammates or departments, basically saying you want them to see this, you want them to see that, give permissions on all the dashboards that you've created and then manage that. Okay, so now this would be, this was the Power BI services. That's how it looks, that's how it works. Right. That is kind of about it on this one. So I'm going to go back to Power BI desktop. I want us to focus more on creating or connecting to other data sources and other data. Right. That's what I'm going to be focusing more on today, the basics. Okay. So we've seen how to connect or bring in data from. Okay, I see a question there from Shabir. Let me go to it. Sorry, give me a second. Shabir says there how to upload the dashboards to our Palladium database so they appear on Palladium dashboards. Okay, Power BI is a Microsoft product. You can bring things out of Palladium into, or let me say the Palladium database into Power BI, but you cannot take the dashboards that we have this side and the reports that we did this side and just push them into Palladium. It's more of a supporting reporting tool. So it is more powerful than the visualizations and the dashboards you'd actually see in your Palladium. That's why we actually have it, and that's why we're actually partnering with it. So for you to use it to do that, you'd have to go into Power BI to work on it. Okay. I'm going to request that we maybe jot our questions down and then push them up at the end of the presentation so that I can be able to push it all the way to the end. Okay. Back to our Power BI desktop. Okay. So this was data from an Excel spreadsheet. Okay. I'm going to bring in now data from, I'm going to close this one. Now I want to bring in data from a SQL database, which is what Palladium uses. What all Palladium databases are SQL databases or SQL databases. So to suit that as well, I'm going to bring in a table or data from an SQL database. Okay, we've been here, discussed this one. I'm going to click on get data. Okay, brings me that. I'm going to specify that I want an SQL Server database. Click on connect. Right. When you try to get data from an SQL database, it will first ask you which server, or it will first ask you to specify the server that you want to get your data from. So at this moment, you must know the server that you're trying to get the information from, or know the server and its credentials, the server in which you want to get your or where your Palladium database is hosted or stored. Okay, I will use my local one there. I had already copied. It's called Raymond Sema. Raymond S, and that is my instance name. I'll go through and say, okay, you can specify the database name there, but it is optional. And I'd advise you, if you are not sure about the database name, because database names can have a different name or different specifications for the SQL to be able to read. So you leave that blank and click on OK. All right, it sees that I'm actually now it's a local instance. It puts me through without actually requesting any authentication. But if you are connecting to a database or a server that is not your local machine, it will request your SA password or your a user for you to log into the instance. So that's where you'd actually now put in a username and the password to the instance so that you can see the databases that are hosted there. Okay, I've got plenty databases here. I'm going to just select one. Let me say that one. Now I've worked on that. And after, when you select on that database, it gives you now all the tables that are in that database. So at this point, it will make sense for you to be knowing exactly which table that you want to pull data from. So you must know the details of your report, or you must know the details of your data, saying I want to bring this or I want to bring that. Okay, so let's say for instance, I want to bring out, I want to check out all my vendors, my suppliers. Okay, I'll look for my table that contains my suppliers, vendors, there it is. Select that. So I just want to check out to check what happens with my suppliers. Okay, looks a little bit small. Maybe let's look at the customers on this table. company, customers. There you go. Okay, it will load the data there just so I can verify that what I want or what appears there is exactly what I want and how I want it. Okay, so now there would be just a preview of our customers table. Okay. As I said earlier, if you click on load, it will bring in the data as it is. So in an SQL or let me say a Palladium database, you would have names like str cast name, str street one. So you would want to bring in data that has fields that are easier to read or that makes better sense for you to read. So as I said earlier, you'd come to edit so that you can edit all that, bring in data that has more sense, data that that is easier to read and easier to understand. Okay, it brings up my customers table there. I'm going to change that and just leave it as customers or say customers table. Okay, it changes it there as well. I'm going to change the fields there as well. Say customer name. And I can also say the address. Let me say address 1. Address line 1. Two. I'll leave that as city. We have province there. Facts, I'll leave out. Say remove field. Email address we can keep. That I want us to remove. CK we remove. The balance due will leave. I want to do something based on that. Yet today purchases will leave. Open orders can leave. Identification method will delete that. Delete that. Delete that. Delete that. Okay, I'll delete that so I can see the ones that are inactive. Okay, there will be a lot. I'm just going to bring in some of them in there and I can pick the ones that I want. from within the report. You will see that as we go. Some of them I'm going to leave to save some time. Rate, description. I'm going to need country, so I'm going to rename that and leave it as country. I think that will be it for now. And I'll close and apply those changes. Okay, we'll apply the changes, try to bring in the edited or the changes that I've made into the report so that I can manipulate it and customize it in a way that I would like, or in a way that will make sense out of. Okay, it's done loading. There is my customers table as I brought it. If I click on that, we would see now the fields that were brought in from there. Okay, so as I said earlier, you can actually pick and choose which fields you want to bring in. So let's say, for example, you want to see the countries, or let me say where your customers are situated. If you take country, bring it in there, it should pick up that this is it should pick up the countries in there, or see that this is a landmarks, and bring out that, which is your maps. It will bring in the maps and show you your customers, where your customers are situated. That is also a nice thing to know or to see. You can see the distribution of your customers. Going to leave that one there. If you bring city, it's going to pick up that it's a map as well, and bring up your cities. Okay, so I'll just leave that out. Only one of those would suffice. Okay, also I would like, let's say we bring out our customers there. I'm going to bring in, where is customer name? Customer name there. Country of origin. Let's bring in the balance due, basically maybe to see what we could be owing them and so forth. Right, for now, let me keep it at that. Get that table, make it more readable. I'm going to change the font to a 10, nice and easier to read. That would be just for visibility and to make it look presentable. You would do that. Okay. So with that seen, maybe I could bring in a bar chart to show me the balance due for all my customers that I have, or those customers that I have there. can bring that up. Let's make it a little bigger. Under X's there, I'll put in my customer name. So this is how you maybe let me say on this area here. That's how you put in now your data to structure how you'd like your reports to look. Right now, it would be our bar chart. We're looking at decimal view. I'll put it into values. Okay, I need country there. Okay, you're bringing our data there, but it doesn't look so good because it is a large amount of data. Okay, what you can do also to help you out would be your slices. You can put in a slicer there. Maybe saying you want to see, let's say we're going to put it for per province. You want to see customers from particular provinces so that the data is easier to read and for you to pick up much nicely. So I'm going to put in there under the slices, let's say my provinces. City, okay, and it'll bring in my cities there. So if I click on, let's say for example, say Kimberley, it'll bring my customers, all my customers that are under Kimberley. In this case, we only have one customer, which is that guy there. Let's make this a little bit more readable. Values, change the titles on. Y-axis 11, let's make that a 12 as well, so that it's a little bit easier to read. So onto our left-hand side would be our customer. Looks like in Kimberley, we only have one. If I click on Benoni, we only have one there under Benoni, and they don't have any balances due and so forth. So you can basically now use your provinces or your cities to select and see your customers. Alberton, we've got a couple of customers under Alberton there, and so forth. So you would be able to bring in and customize your data in Power BI. It allows you, it gives you the power to do that as well, and it also gives you the visualizations that are necessary there. It's got a lot of very powerful visualizations there that you can use to make your data easily readable and so forth. Okay, and it also allows you to read to name the fields, just like in Excel. It has pages over there. I'm going to right click and rename page, maybe just call it customer by location. So that would be our customers there by location, and it allows you to enter a new pages. So you can have a report that has plenty pages in it, and when you publish it into your Power BI services, you'll be able to select from each page what you want your teams to see as well. Okay. So yeah, basically when it comes to the development part of things, that's the basics. That's how you'd now bring in data from your SQL database, bring data from your Excel spreadsheet, and bring them together into Power BI. to come up with powerful visualizations and powerful reports. Okay. I'm going to take this time also to show you a pack. This is a pack that has already been created in Power BI. This is a sales analysis pack. It would show you now exactly the power of Power BI, how it can help your business and how it can make visuals and dashboards much easier. Okay, so another thing that you can bring through or data that you can bring into Power BI would be your views, your SQL views. So if you created or want to create a view that brings together a couple of tables, more than one table, to have relationships and to bring in data from different tables, you can bring it also into Power BI. Okay, for example, there's Power Pack. There's a demo pack that is done for sales analysis. It is from a Palladium a view that is created. Right, it's called sales analysis. So from there, we've got a couple of pages there that have been created based on what you want. So what we have there, the first one would be just the revenue dashboard. By zooming in and out there, you can see on the database that I've selected where the revenue strings are from based on country. Okay, so it shows you where your biggest revenue comes from. You can see that the biggest dot there is in South Africa, and you can actually now do readings or reports based on that kind of dashboard. Okay, we've got the sales by rep. Okay, it looks like there were no sales representations on the database that I've selected. Sales by item category. So it will show you your sales based on the categories that were there. We've got ceramics there, crystal, decorations, and so forth. So you'd actually now see your revenue, your income based on the item categories that you have in your database. Okay. The next page I see there will be now your sales by customer. It will show you all your sales by customer. Why is this not pulling in? Refresh it. It doesn't seem to be pulling in anything. Sales by customer and item category. Okay, so this shows you how powerful Power BI can be in building your reports and being able to draw quick conclusions from the reports that you've created. Okay. So if I were to create maybe, for example, just a new page on this one, on a report that would compare your revenue or your sales against the costs that your company is facing. So let me just quickly do that. I'm going to say page. Okay, this is one that has already been created a little bit earlier. So this would be a report that shows you your cost versus your revenue per year. So in 2013, it shows you that the blue part is your cost, your revenue in the black is that much. 2014, 2015, and so forth. So based on the data that is fed from your database, you can bring in information or data that helps you decide quickly and make quick decisions. Things that you can actually put on your dashboard and display to your other teammates, your underlings, and your superiors as well. Right. As it is now, can I check if there are any questions on Power BI so far? How do I publish to the web? There's a question from Guy. He asks, how do I publish to the web? Okay, so let's say, for example, this whole report with all these pages, I want to now push it onto to the web as Guy would like. Basically, what pushing it to the web would be to push it onto Power BI services, right? So how to do that? Up there is publish. Okay, when you click on publish, it looks at the user that you're logged in into, and then it will put it there under your profile. So if I click on publish now, it will take its time to publish there a bit. Once it's done, I will be able to access this report and all its contents on the Power BI service, and I'll be able to create dashboards as I please. Okay, I'll say get it. If you remember how to get to Power BI services, click on that. Say Power BI services, takes me to the web. Okay, apps are bundled and dashboards and reports. Next. Okay, now onto my Power BI services there. If I go to my workstations, and you can see now that that Power BI demo pack is now there, which wasn't there before. If I click on that, it will show me everything under that report. You see all those dashboards. A report as it was under the under my Power BI desktop, it will come up in Power BI services as well, just as it was under there. More cleaner, and you can also now do your dashboards by pinning them into your dashboards. I'll minimize this and go back to Power BI. I see Shabir had a question here as well. What is Shabir saying? How does Power BI auto refresh the data so you have up-to-date information? There has to be internet connectivity between the Palladium database server and the Power BI desktop on the computer it is installed on. All right. Will this be a live feed? How often will the data be refreshed on the web? Okay. The data that is on Power BI that is on the web is live. So if I change something onto the Power BI desktop, once I click on publish, it basically now takes the data that is there. And once it's put onto publish, once it's published onto the services constantly live data. As you change it on the database, on the SQL database, it refreshes and updates onto the web, and also refreshes and updates onto the Power BI desktop. So it is quite a live system. It refreshes basically almost immediately. Once you edit your data in Palladium, a sales invoice comes in, you record it, and the database tables are changed. Also, Power BI takes that change into effect. Okay. Guy, when you say a link of the dashboard, you in what way would you want to send it? Do you want to send it to okay, maybe explain a little bit further on your question when you say a link, a hyperlink. Ah, all right. Chat. Okay, I see. So basically saying, can you send a hyperlink to Power BI? Not that I'm aware of. You cannot send it as a hyperlink. If somebody was to see it, you'd need to share it with them, and they would need to have Power BI, let me say, access to Power BI as well. So it would be something like, that's why when you register, it requests for a company email. So basically, it understands that you have a team that you're running, and you need to share it with that team. So it will be within the team. It will be within the people that are registered onto Power BI. Keith asks, do we need to pay some fee for the immediate updates? As I heard the free version is only every hour or so for the updates. There is a different one. There's a Power BI, the free one, and there's a Power BI Pro, which has more features and has a lot better update rate. So yes, and a Power BI Pro will want you to subscribe, and our sales team can actually give you the details on how that is done. Paul, can you set it to automatically update every day or twice a day, etc.? Okay. The refresh, the refresh or the update into Power BI is done at a live interval. So you don't actually need to set it for it to refresh in a twice or so forth. It does it by default. It refreshes. Okay. Thank you. So as far as basics are involved with Power BI, this would be it. At a later stage, there would be a more advanced session of Power BI where now we go into showing you how to create views and how to do more visualizations, basically looking into all those visualizations that are up there into the Power BI desktop and how you can use them to best benefit you. Okay. Thank you so much, Shabir. Okay. Keith, what are you looking for? Let me see. Can we have the link for this recorded webinar? Of course, yes. This webinar was recorded, and if you feel that there were things that were important here and you want to go back to it, we would be able to share the link with you as well. All right. Okay. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you for coming, and thank you for participating. Oh, wow. I'm actually getting cheers. Thank you, guy. See you on the next advanced Power BI presentation. Okay. Ladies, gentlemen, bye-bye. See you next time. Buenas tardes.